coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard, coping and seething.
Welcome toสวัสดีกระมังเดอะเซ็กต์ซันชาแนลต้นปะฮูปะฮูฮายดิซี่
Oh yeah, that's what I like to see. Oh yeah.
What's up, everybody? Good to see you here today after my long intro. What's going on? I hope you guys are doing well, and you hope you guys are doing fantastic. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and this is the Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge, and oh boy, we got a lot for you to judge on your own today, my friends. So we're going to get into it with Palworld versus Pokemon. I've got a lot to talk about there. A lot of things I'm going to clear up. A lot of people with bad takes that need to be fixed. And we're also I'm going to spend a little bit, just like 2 seconds. I think this is just a little bit of a continuation of what I've talked about before. But we're going to talk a little bit about the Iron Mouse stuff, just 2 seconds on that. And I'm sure I'm going to have a follow-up on that one simply because it's a big deal. And I know y'all, a lot of y'all happen to be fans of the VTubers, maybe, perhaps. So maybe you've heard of this little channel called Iron Mouse, maybe. I'm not sure whether you guys have heard. I don't know. Very small, tiny, minuscule streamer that is only at the top of the Twitch charts. Very tiny, very minuscule. Now, good to see everybody here today. Let's just get to some of these chats first before we start off, because you guys are really based, starting with a lot of chats here. So Opop says it's Mr. Long man. I did forget that in the intro, so let me give you the abridged. Let's give you the long Yago.
Long
One of my more favorite versions. I'm not gonna lie of that. Also, we've got Tatsumi saying Legal Mindset is live. Nintendo did not get him. No, and I do apologize. I was going to stream a little bit earlier today, but if you guys paid attention to my last couple streams, you may have seen that I had a light that was blinking to the left. It was like dying and going weird, like I was in some fucking haunted house. Well, it turns out it's a specialty bulb, so I had to go out and find that, come back, have somebody from my building install it because I have really high. In the bedroom, I have really high ceiling, so even my 6'6" ass, my 2-meter ass, cannot reach the roof if I'm standing on a chair. It's not possible. Even standing on the shelf, I can't reach it. So I had to get somebody who owns a ladder, which is a very rare occurrence for me. But yes, I do apologize for that. But I'm here. We're here. We got everything done. Yes, I have a 2-meter ass. My ass alone is 2 meters. Yes, that is entirely true, A2B. Entirely true. I still think you're not wearing any pants. Well, that is a very relevant inquiry, and perhaps the people will never know the answer to that. Perhaps they will. Who knows? Find out on next episode. Opop, welcome as a member for 7 months as well, and Dandel, member for 5 months. And shout out to all the members that made it to my stream the other day. For all members, my next member stream will be BLM only, and maybe it'll be even crazier. But I do appreciate you guys for joining. I know I had a little bit of limited time on that, but I do appreciate everybody who came for those member streams. I try to have at least one, if not two, for all members every single month. King Lugia gifted 1 Legal Mindset membership. Thank you for that. Let's just ring up the...
Hello! Best department.
Thank you for the memberships. Remember, during our member stream, we kind of confirmed about 70% of the folks that are out there that have a membership have it because of a gift. So it is really awesome that you guys are gifting out there, because so many people are beneficiaries of that and receive those. So thank you from me for giving those gifts to those folks. So thank you for that. And then Brent Wolf dropping 50 legal mindset membership.
Not a sin. I cannot absolve you. Mega based.
Brent, thank you so much, brother. I think it's been a show or two since I've seen you send a chat, but thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Is super based of you, and you are always welcome on this channel. And thank you so much for helping me support this channel, helping me support this, helping me what I do, and helping me bring awesome content and legal content that is both educational and entertaining to everybody. So thank you for helping me out with that, Brent Wolf. And guys in the chat, please say thank you as well. We've got guys dropping the mega based here. Super based. Appreciate that. And all the chat appreciates that. Also, big thank you to JP Ravenfire. And thank you for the clip the other JP Ravenfire. I also appreciate that. The clips can get spicy. So I do love them and do appreciate them. We have a Poe clip for later. Poe's first thought when she saw a toilet. That's going to be the outro. It's going to be on the outro. So that one is queued up for later, but appreciate all those that sent clips. I know someone sent Hoyoverse clips, but upon just thinking about it and upon my last video getting not one, but two claims against it, I'm erring on the side of fairly conservative. So I really am erring against playing entire Hoyoverse teasers and trailers and intros and stuff like that. So maybe I'll play a portion of it in the future. Not today, though, because I want to make sure this one is in the clear and gets out there and is not suppressed in the algorithm. But I do appreciate you sending that. If anything, I can play it during my BLM streams, because those I don't really care. It's for members only, so it's more limited, and the ads don't look at it as much. But Brent says for 10 says, I'm usually VOD gang due to stream times at work. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you for that. And that's why I try to change my stream times up. That's why I try to do both, some in the morning, some in the evening, so that people can catch me one time or another. And for the VOD gang, obviously we have our intrepid Clipper Eagle. Shout out to him. And he is pretty good about getting everything turned around quickly. So if there's a popular topic like Pokemon versus Palworld, which I talked about before the Diddy case, which, talk about different topics going from patent law to 1,000 bottles of lubricant. Totally different. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about when I talk about 1,000 bottles of lube, go watch the Diddy stream. That said, needed to break out the Pokemon versus Palworld stuff. And this is an update. So what I have today is kind of an update with more information and me thinking more deeply about it, doing more research. My very preliminary takes were given in the beginning of that stream, but this is a more thought out version. And also it's going to help a lot of you guys when you're talking about this, because there are a legion of low IQ takes on the internet about Pokemon versus Palworld, and I don't want any of the Chads and Stacys in my chat being uneducated, arguing these brain dead arguments no better than us. When they're out there on the internet. You guys are better than that. I hold you to a higher standard, okay? Even my mod, where's Professional Gentleman? I'm sure he's out there actually today. Let me see. Did I see him today? I think I saw him earlier. But Professional Gentleman and I were actually kind of talking back and forth in a discussionary way, in a respectful way, about some of the law regarding patents and some of the applicability of this on X, right? And there's a way to have an intelligent, respectful conversation, and there's a way to be a brain dead monkey, right? Monkey. And I love the monkey emojis in the chat. Love them. All right, let's go here. Crimson Splat for 5 says, congrats to Maury Callipy for debuting the Billboard Top 100 Artists at 72 week of... Wait, really? Okay, hold on. Maury Callipy, Billboard Top 100. Let's see. She did it. Oh, wow. She did it. Look at that. Let's put this up real quick. Big ups for Maury. I love that VTubers, people can make fun of me for liking VTubers. I don't give a fuck. And I love how people at this point, 6-7 months in, are still trying to shame me for covering VTuber issues or liking VTubers. But like, Maury is genuinely talented. Like, we've listened live to like some of her tracks, a lot of her clips, but we've listened to her singing, we've listened to her rapping, like really legitimately good, right? Like legitimately skilled. And that's what really separates these people from the run-of-the-mill streamer, and certainly from like the run-of-the-mill flesh tuber ethot, right? I mean, Calliope is definitely, Maury is definitely skilled there. So shout out to her for that. That's a big one. That's a big W for her. So she deserves that to celebrate that. Sibo says thoughts on HoloLive's Amelia announcement. Well, I talked about that in my last stream, but I'll talk about it again with Amelia Watson. Obviously, Amelia Watson won, or Watson Amelia, whichever way you want to say it, is graduating, but not really. And what we found out about Amelia Watson was that she is actually going to be doing occasional collabs with HoloLive. So she's going to end up like still around and coming back, maybe for concerts, maybe for other stuff, and not completely going away. So, that's actually pretty good news, I think. And she also may be doing other types of collaboration, right? May still be selling merch, etc. Right? Not really a consultant, but more of a contractor almost, because she's gonna probably do individual projects where they'll probably pay her out individually for that. She made it clear that she is not staff. Now, I know all of you like that rat. Even my boy DN, he was running out there screaming that she was going to be staff. That was That was entirely wrong, right? And I don't know why that was the assumption that she was going to be staff, because affiliate could be a lot of things. Yeah, it could mean technically staff, but not really, right? I mean, you would say if they were going in-house, you might say, well, we're deciding to transition her to inside of the corporation, and you just say it because it's going to be obvious. So we'll see what happens with that. She clarified that, yeah. So she clarified that she will not be staff. She said it definitively. So she is not going to be staff, but she still will be doing collaborations. It's very interesting. I thought it was weird, but it's probably weird because this is probably the first time that they're doing it. They're doing it that way. By the way, hey, Ben says, I'm a flesh tubing ethot in my off time. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. We're all flesh tubing ethots at the end of the day, aren't we? Sibo says, oh, so I got that one already. Happy 800 says, Legal Mindset stream during my post karaoke relay clarity. Love it. Yeah, it's an interesting time. I mean, it's a Saturday night for me, but it's still early enough that like Bangkok goes late. So like I can end up going out afterwards. And the city is very much still alive. But it's post dinner. So I've had dinner, kind of like nice, relaxing, chilling with you guys. But I know for a lot of you, you're just waking up in the morning if you're East Coast, right? So that's good as well. Marsupial Gamer says, good morning, my friend. Glad I caught you live. Well, good morning, Marsupial Gamer. Hope you're doing well. And then Ren Cruz joined as a member, and appreciate you joining as a member of the RPG, the Replay Gang. You have access to all the members exclusive content. So enjoy that, as well as the emojis, everything else. So thank you. All right, let's get into some more news. Before we get into Pokemon vs. Palworld, we've got Iron Mouse. So what happened with Iron Mouse? Well, we've got here Iron Mouse, obviously that's her account there on Twitter. This is incredibly sad and shocked that my main YouTube channel has been terminated. Right now, I have a legal team working on things. I am so sorry to inconvenience everyone who enjoys watching my videos. Hopefully this can get resolved soon. So let me speak to this real quick. So some people in the comments are really deranged. And what I want to say is some people are saying, well, if she had a legal team, they should have fixed this immediately. Well, that's not exactly how these things work. If you have connections, that can work. If the legal team is well connected to YouTube, yeah, that can work. But it doesn't always happen right off the bat. It doesn't always happen right off rip. And beyond that, one thing that Iron Mouse probably has to consider for the future, like most of us that have our channels out there, is how to deal with their identity, right? So one thing that can happen with these strikes and these malicious strikes is people can use these strikes on YouTube as a way to dox you, right? So if you have a malicious actor or a stalker or somebody else, they can use that as a way to dox you. It's very funny in a way. So one thing you can do is you can actually use your lawyers address. If you have a lawyer, you could use your lawyer's address and substitute that out for your address and even their name, I believe, as well, on YouTube. But now she may be contacting them to confirm that or to make that, out there. But if she's hired a legal team, that's good. Now, one thing I have said, and this is literally what I said a while ago, even a couple days ago, I repeated it. Things are not going to change with people fucking with VTubers until somebody big with an agency gets fucked with. And, my prediction about this, we need to see some agency or a really big indie get hit. I mean, VChojo is as close to indie as it gets. I mean, they're effectively kind of indie with an agency, right? But still, obviously they have an agency backing. And she's big enough and beyond that, sympathetic enough. Like, this isn't somebody who's out there like doing like very, very graphic content, which, is debatably sexual, right? This is a person out there who is huge, who has the power, who has the fans, who has the connections to fight back. And this is a serious loss. It's not just a small channel. It's a 1.1 million channel. It's a wholesome content creator who lost their 1.1 million subscriber channel. That is massive. And that might be the thing that gets them to say, you know what, we need to consider some changes. Now, I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but maybe they start thinking about it. Maybe they don't do it immediately, but maybe they push them in the right direction. This is regarding YouTube. Obviously, this is on YouTube, right? This isn't Twitch. Of course, Twitch has separate problems, but sometimes they are related, right? YouTube seems to have more problems involving malicious actors. So YouTube has the malicious actor problem. Twitch has the active discrimination and inconsistent policy problem. And I do agree. Somebody in the chat said remove the safe harbor. Well, that would be all sorts of fun, but I don't think that'll happen anytime soon. Let's see here. Oh, Leprechaun Gold dropped $20. Shiba, I love my shibs. Thank you so much for that. Shibs are absolutely great. And I do love them. So thank you for that. Really, really appreciate that. Yeah. Appreciate that. And then Napoleon Johnamite Mugen says someone really has it out for Tungsten Rat, huh? I mean, Iron Mouth. I like Tungsten Rat. That's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. Batman's Pet Goldfish says, according to the Japanese patent office, Japan has a grace period of 1 year after publicizing the product due to loss of novelty. Okay, we're going to get into this because there's some things, okay? There's some things that I think a lot of people aren't talking about or realizing. So we're gonna dive right into that, okay? But good note. Einhander for member for 7 months says, quick tuber history. The Takanashi Kiara channel was once deleted by YouTube. Interesting and coincidentally, this happened to a Phoenix, so she was able to make it content. All right. This is Iron Mouse's second channel, so it looks more targeted, right? It looks more targeted. That's a big thing. So to me, and I know there's like history here, and I know there's other stuff going on right now and other crazy shit that I need to catch up on, and malicious actors. So maybe there's a follow-up, right? But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what comes to the Iron Mouse situation, whether they fix that. Oftentimes when I'm talking about these bans, within 24 to 48 hours, the channel's back up. Within 24 to 48 hours. Oftentimes, not always, but more often than not. All right. Let me get this chat. Kefid V 2317 says, and Amy is literally the foundation of Hololive EN. Really? If she completely walked out, it would be a huge red flag in the community panic. Yeah, I think that might be it then. I think it might be like, hey, let's not like slam the door here. Let's keep it open. It's very sad. I mean, all the clips I saw, I liked from her. Her model was super cute. It seems very, very sad that she'd be leaving, but obviously people have the right to leave. It is their prerogative, right, to go and come whenever they want to go. They're real humans behind the VTuber, and you have to think about their life and circumstances, which may change, right? So you can grow up, get older, you can change what you want to do. You might want to change industries. They might want be married. They might have a kid. Who knows what's going on with them? And they're a human being who has a right to do all of those things if they want to, including just to relax or take a break or do something different, right? So yeah, but we'll see what happens with her going forward. And I don't think it's because of any bad blood. There's no sign of this, that this is some sort of Niji Sanji situation where there's like a bad relationship or abuse or bullying. So at this point, the send-off was positive. It seems like an open door. There's nothing to tell me this would be anything that was untoward. So I think this is it's bittersweet, but I think when it happens, you're sad, but you know that it's going to be positive for that person's future. So you have to be happy for them. You have to be. Because they're, once again, they're the person you really cared about. They're the content creator that was making the content you loved. For Fred, for 20 Canadian, says, since they constantly block streams of content creators for playing their own music, like Hollow announcing they're releasing their fest from 6 months ago, I'd say they're straining people's patience a lot. That could be true. That could be true. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, blocking people playing their own music it's pretty shitty. It's pretty shitty. CurroTube. People say, I try to have that mindset. Yeah, you try to be positive. I try to be positive. You got to understand their point of view because they're people, and content creators are people. They're not your slaves, right? But that said, it is okay to feel like you miss them, feel like you don't see them anymore. There's content creators that I love that have disappeared off the internet and they're never to be seen again. And, you have that nostalgia for that, but you appreciate what they created all the more, or maybe content creators that passed away. Right. I was listening to some based comedy of good old Patrice O'Neill, RIP, once again, people pass away. You'll never get to hear them or see them again. And it's very sad that a lot of people aren't appreciated till they pass from this earth. All right. Let's see here. Artemis says, Andrew, if you tell the fans VTubers get married or have kids, they'll start coping and seething. Oh, sorry. Do I need to play the clip? Sorry. I'll play the clip for you.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
I was like behind the scenes just doing a dance. But yeah, the thing is, look, my channel, I'm not going to be here and lie to you guys. And that's the point of my channel. Sometimes you're not going to like what I have to say. Like, for example, when we talk about Palworld and Pokemon today, I know a lot of people are not going to like what I have to say because they want it a certain way, right? And when I say something is good or bad, especially legally, right? I'm just trying to tell you guys the truth and be honest with you, right? And look, this is what happens, whether or not people like it, whether people get mad about it, whether it destroys their unicorn vision, right? I'm not here to lie about that sort of stuff because I think that's disingenuous, right? But that's what happens. It's what happens. LJ O'Rourke says it sucks with Iron Mouse as her clippers got hit, the VOD channel got hit, and now the main got hit. At 3 channels down, that's a pattern. That's a pattern that looks like targeted harassment, right? Jin Blades for 50 krona said, my VTuber waifu cannot be married. She has chosen to remain single just for me. Coping. Yes, that is maximum engage, cope to maximum warp. Yeah, I mean, that is your cope is over 9,000, okay? It's over 9,000. Yeah, that's a lot. Not my horse, girl. Tell that to Fillion and Chibidoki. Oh, God. Okay. Marsupial Gamer said, I need to figure out how to get my boss to graduate. He never wears bunny or cat ears to work like a VTuber. And also, he's terrible. Okay. So there have been some interesting takes. So obviously, let's get over to Pokemon versus Palworld. So we have a lawsuit Pokemon versus Palworld. I covered the basics. That's the original statement from Pokemon, which was we are suing to protect our patents. It's a patent infringement lawsuit. The one thing I want to start out with real quick, clearly here, and this is something I'm going to repeat, is this is patent law. Patent law is not copyright. Both copyright and patent are types of what we call intellectual property law, but they're different. They're different. They're as different as, for example, different crimes. So, for example, burglary and murder are both crimes. They're both crimes that you fall into the parameter of criminal law. So you'd say, oh yeah, criminal law, burglary, murder, right? But they're different. The elements of those are different. What you need to satisfy or prove those in court is different. You can't come to a murder case with proof of a burglary and try to prove that the burglary happened. Same thing with patents and copyright. The elements are different. The requirements are different. I'm going to explain a couple of these things to you right now. One of the biggest differences between copyright, which generally is used to protect broader concepts, ideas, things that might pertain to a story, for example, or a movie, or an artistic work, or other forms of artistic expression, right? Versus a patent, which is generally used for inventions and processes. So things involving hardware, software, things involving mechanical systems, right? Those sort of things that are on that side of the register. Now, beyond that, copyright exists whether or not you register it with the state. Whether or not you register your copyright, you still have a copyright the second you create something. So if someone goes out and tries to steal your book, and you wrote a book and they steal it verbatim, they plagiarize the entire thing, and you never registered it, it doesn't matter. You can still go after that person, right? You have a copyright interest. You have a protection of what you have made because you made it. And it's the second that you made it. Patents are not like that. Patents need to be registered. There is a race to registration when it comes to patents. If somebody was to find out about an invention and then go race out and patent it, they can screw you. And that's why trade secrets are important. That's why protecting certain formulas or other things is important, because if somebody gets out ahead of you or steals your research, some sort of industrial corporate sabotage or spying or espionage, that's a big problem. That's a real big problem. And that's a hard stop. That can be a hard stop. If someone gets a patent on something, it can stop you from advancing down a line of technology. And there are people out there called patent trolls, and whether companies and groups that actually try to block lines of research by going out there and paying and holding up the troll toll and making you pay to use that specific line of research or that specific line of innovation. It's a big thing. Also, we'll talk about this. Patents are relatively international. Now, at first, I did mention, and I always mention, hey, just let's be aware this is being filed in Tokyo, not in America, right? So a lot of people were applying like all of American law. Now, that said, there are some procedural differences in Japan. There are some differences with exactly how they register their local trademarks, patents, copyrights, etc. But generally, most of the world follows the PCT, which is the Patent Cooperation Treaty. In fact, you can see here the Patent Cooperation Treaty has 157 cooperating states. Pretty much the only places that are out of this are Pakistan, Afghanistan, Yemen, Somalia. You've got Argentina, Uruguay, and that's about it. Even North Korea, guys, even fucking North Korea. Oh yeah, Burma's in there too. Even North Korea is down with the Patent Cooperation Treaty. Like pretty nuts. Pretty nuts. So even China, yes, I know someone actually, you know what's funny? So people are wondering about China. So China, fun fact about China, chickadee China, the Chinese chicken, have a drumstick. Your brain starts clicking. The funny thing about China is that they actually moved to the top slot for patent registrations under the PCT. So China currently registers more patents than the United States. United States used to be number one. Also up there in the rankings is Japan, of course. Watashi wa, lots of patents, right? And then you've got South Korea. South Korea, they got kimchi and they got patents as well. So South Korea, Japan, US, China, all up there being Chad-like in their amount of patents. And by the way, if you think about most of the patents being filed in the United States, they're probably a lot of them are also filed. A significant number are probably filed by people of Asian descent in America. But that said, yeah, there are things that are upheld in China. And actually, I forgot to pull up this article. Let me pull it up real quick. Pokemon just won a lawsuit in China. So for all of those that and this was to me shocking, right? So there was a copyright suit, not patent, copyright suit. Hold on, let me pull this up in Brave because I love Bounding into Comics. I love those guys, but they put a half page worth of ads on their site, which is quite annoying. All right, here we go. So thank you, Brave browser, for blocking most of this. All right, here we go. Okay. No, I'm not installing your plugin. Okay. Pokemon just won a $15 million copyright lawsuit in the Shenzhen People's Court for $15 million in damages. Now, this is against the game, right? Against the turn-based Pocket Monster reissue, right? So they won that case. Now, Pocket Monster reissue, this knockoff that was made about $42 million annually. So originally, Pokemon Company sued them for $72 million. However, they only got 15. So they didn't get all their profit. So they got a big win, but they didn't get all their profit. But even to win in China is huge, guys, because this has never been a thing. So the fact that Nintendo can go out here and win in China is really impressive. And to be honest, from what I know of their litigation history, they usually win. Not always, but usually. There have been occasional times where they have taken an L. But the fact they won in China is, I was surprised. I was like, I mean, that just doesn't happen. You have major American companies that can be just blown out of court in China. So very interesting. But Nintendo is very litigious. They are very litigious. All right, let me get some of these comments before we jump into the Palworld statement and get back into this. But we're also, real quick, to finish my thought on the PCT, how the PCT works is, if you use this international system, now you have to get on the international portal and file it. But if you file your patent through the international system, it gets registered and acknowledged by all of these states. So if a Japanese company registers a patent through the international system, then it's in the system with all these states. They don't have to do that. They could just register it locally. Now, I don't know why they would do that. Maybe there's some strategy to that. Once again, I am a generalist when it comes to this knowledge. I do not have specific knowledge in patents that is deep and robust, right? I have ancillary knowledge of this area of law. But my understanding is that you can still file locally. So if I just wanted it to only be valid in China, I could just file it in China. If I wanted it to just be valid in Japan, I could just file in Japan. But if you use the international portal, which is fairly easy to use, you can get it registered in all these states. So I don't see why, if you're providing a product to all of the world, you wouldn't want to go ahead and register that everywhere. Doesn't make sense to me. Aaron Amin says Chairman Xi is going to make an example of the judges. Maybe we'll see. Or maybe that's the direction, because China wants to be perceived as more open, because they're in a tight spot and they need foreign direct investment, because they've had a really bad name for foreign direct investment. Really, really bad. Von Cobra says WTC had lost this fight 3 decades ago. Game mechanics cannot be patented. If there's a unique technology like the Nemesis system, that's different. If this is about throwing Pokeballs, Nintendo should lose. Japanese courts could shake out differently, though. Yes, and there are some things that they say, oh, no, we're going to allow that. But I'm not, and in this, I'm not going to tell you how the Japanese court is going to rule. But what I will say is this. It's not a meritless claim, right? It's not a meritless claim. It's something that Palworld is going to have to fight and prove in court with persuasive arguments. The judge isn't just going to laugh it out of court. Also, a lot of people on the internet have been saying they don't have standing, and a lot of people don't know what the meaning of the word standing is, and I can't blame them. I mean, I know it makes them I know it makes them sound like a
monkey とかさ
but standing simply means the ability to bring something into court, right? Yeah, they have the ability to bring something to court because they have a patent, right? Now, whether that patent is enforceable, that's up to the court. But as of this date, the patent is valid. Palworld would have to invalidate the patent at court. But as it stands, it's valid. So yeah, they have standing. So anybody out there on the internet who's like keyboard warring it on X and saying they don't have standing. No, they have standing. Okay. They have the ability to bring a claim. That's what standing means. Does that mean they're going to win? No, it does not mean they're going to win. Just because you have standing means you bring it to court. That's like a participation trophy. Standing is a fucking participation trophy. Okay. So if someone's asking me, are they getting a participation trophy? Yeah. Okay, sure. That doesn't mean they're number one. That doesn't mean they come out on top. Think about it like that. So when I say somebody doesn't have standing, think about it like they didn't even show up to class. That's the best way of thinking about that. Real quick here, I'll go in order from top to bottom. Mark says, Anna, that Star Wars girl, just got married and is having a baby. If she leaves the internet, Twitter will never be the same. No more Anna versus the internet. The woman is so entertaining when she goes nuclear on the Twitch trolls. Yeah, I mean, Anna's been cool with me. I haven't had a problem with her one-on-one. Whenever she has a issue with me, she DMs me directly, so that's always good. There's been some spicy moments because Anna's been I've disagreed with Anna on some of her takes and some of her stances, but I can have reasonable disagreements with other content creators and not jump to like besmirching them on a deep level, right? So I'm like, not like your mother was a hippopotamus just because you think like, I don't know. We should. I don't know. Maybe you want to nationalize railways, right? I'm like, okay, well, I think you're wrong, and that's a commie solution, but I'm not going to like personally attack you for that, right? Let's see here. Felzu said, I've been a member to a married VTuber for 4 years. Aki Rose is special. Well, it's very special to you. Very special to you. LCPL Anime Guy says, we are displeased with Tech Priest Nintendo. The laws of Forge World Japan. Oh, sorry, I got to do this in a 40K voice. We are displeased with Tech Priest Nintendo. The laws of Forge World Japan shall be redone per the policy of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Tech Priest E3AG. Love it. Love it. I got to play Space Marine. Space Marine looks so good. Space Marine looks so good. I just, what's funny? I don't have that many gamer friends anymore, though. Like, I used to play Gears of War for fucking days with my friends. I would sit over. I was one of those kids who played Gears for days. Looks great, though. Looks great. Game looks fantastic. Looks so fun. And I'm loving, like, the just bros hopping on and, like, shit talking with each other. Like, that's so fun. That looks so fun. Philip says, whoever gifted me for the membership, thank you. Thank you, too, for giving those gifts. LJ at Work became a new member. Appreciate you jumping in there as a new member, LJ at Work, and upgrading to the BLM level. Oh, whenever I see BLM level.
Oh, yeah, that's what I like to see. Oh, yeah.
I'm not sorry, and I did nothing wrong.
Appreciate that so much. Thank you, LJ at Work. Shout out to all the people in the BLM level and the base legal mindset. Appreciate you guys. Stephen Miller. So the problem with these patents from Nintendo is that they were filed and granted months after Palworld was released and trending. I hope Nintendo loses and learns to update the Palworld. That is actually not a problem at all. So I'm going to explain to you a concept which actually makes that completely fine. And that a lot of this argument, which is, and understand, I'm not trying to be condescending. It's just something that even I had to learn about, even I had to do research on. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So it's something that I want to share with everybody else from an educational standpoint, right? Because even I learned about this. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, I get it. All right, I get it. So the dates aren't going to matter. Weird says, does Nintendo understand what they are about to do? Well, what they're about to do is tank their credibility and public image. Not that they care that much, not that it matters that much, but I mean, this is literally them taking out a successful competitor. It's the pettiest, lowest business move. And to be frank, they're not harming Pokemon's business in a real way, right? I mean, and then look, just because they use a ball mechanic, right? Like without the legal side, right? Let them do it. What's going to be the big harm? No one's going to, in fact, if anything, that'll drive more people to Pokemon. More Pokemon-like games will give people nostalgia for the real thing. Also, frankly, having a, not a competitor, but just somebody that comes out and innovates, gives them areas to look at and say, oh yeah, maybe we want to do open world right. Maybe we want to do open world the right way. Right? I think they should look at it like the Japanese concept of rivals. And I think the Japanese concept of rivals is very healthy, Like even I have been like nominating people as my rivals here in Bangkok. I'm like, okay, you're my rival for this and you're my rival for this. There's a guy I got here who's my rival for like learning Thai because he came here like way I've been here about 2 years, but I've been traveling a lot. So I've probably only been here effectively a year, but he's only been here for real a year. And he's got a better mastery of like certain things in Thai than I do. My spoken Thai is better than his, but he can read better than I can. So I'm like, you know what? You're officially my rival. And it's a good thing because it's pushing me to learn more and be like, I'm going to beat this fucker. Right? It's a good thing. Eldon Wild, welcome. As a new member of the RPG. Welcome. Just to clarify, Wizard of the Coast Magic the Gathering tried to protect tapping, turning a card sideways to indicate it had been used. They won the word and symbol, lost the mechanic. I agree. And you know what? That makes total sense. Turning a card sideways has been in games and other gaming for decades and millennia. So the action of turning a card sideways is not going to be something that they're going to be able to lock down. However, throwing a ball that captures an animal, that is pretty, you could argue that's unique. That's a more novel thing. It's not something that occurs in real life. If I throw a ball that doesn't if I throw a ball at a dog, it's going to like catch it. It's not going to like get inside of it. So I don't know. About that. And I know people say there's other IP that has used the ball capture before Pokemon, but it doesn't matter if they've got the patent on it, right? They got the patent on it. Will this discourage indies from being creative? I think it could. It could have what's called a chilling effect, and that's a bad thing to have a chilling effect because without innovation, you never grow. And without people that are challenging or pushing you, you never grow. LCPL says, feels like a bad PR move for Nintendo. I get protecting IP, but it feels like Palworld's system is way different compared to this. And it's got guns, baby. It's got guns. It's got slavery. You can enslave. You're a big enslaver in Palworld. You're pretty much running a Palworld plantation. It's crazy. It's much different. EDMG 499 says, I'm no professional, but I was told Japanese lawyers only take cases they think they're certain to win. Nintendo wouldn't sue if they had no case. I agree on that as well. The Japanese are very conservative when it comes to litigation. They typically do not sue in Japanese court unless they're pretty damn sure they're going to win or they have a good case. It's not American court where there's so many frivolous cases. This is totally different because they don't like bringing frivolous cases just for the sake of bringing frivolous cases. That's not a Japanese court thing. That's specific to America and some other countries that use a similar system to America. It's a very American thing to just sue somebody and hope you recover or get a settlement. That's not how things work in Japan. Let's see. For 10, Jacob Foxfires 964 said, people forget Yokai Watch was a thing that View could have. The thing they viewed could have taken down Pokemon. They were very popular for a short time, but they never did this. So that says to me there's something here. Yeah, I haven't heard of Yokai Watch. Let me pull that up. Yokai Watch. Yeah, I don't know about Yokai Watch at all, pretty much. Looks very similar to Pokemon. Looks very, very, very similar to Pokemon. Let me just pull this up real quick. Looks kind of cute, though. Looks kind of cute. I will say, let's pull up Yokai Watch. Are these guys? These guys are really cute as hell, right? It's Yokai Watch. I think they're kind of adorable. I mean, I would definitely go with the gator-like entity down here. I also like ghost Pokemon and like generally ghost creatures. So like generally a ghost is good. I mean, everyone does with fire. Of course, fire's overpowered, but yeah, no, that's cute. All right, I'll allow it. I'll allow it. While the franchise is popular in Japan and Europe, it failed to meet their expectations in North America. Despite that, the franchise's North American launch was successful, selling 400,000 units. Man, you know what it outsold? Concord. You know, when I found out that Concord lost $400 million, and that's not including what it took to buy their dev team. Holy fucking shit. That company, talk about Sony and Nintendo. I mean, oh boy. Except for Nintendo may actually win this one. That's just an L from Sony. That's pure L. Anyways, you guys are distracting me. I'm gonna get through these comments and we're gonna move on. Sorry if you covered it already, but is this a vexatious lawsuit rather than a frivolous one? Also, Palworld already outsold the entire Digimon series. Here's the thing. When you say vexatious, I don't know if you mean that in a legal sense, because a lot of times people mean vexatious as in malicious, as in there's no merit to it. It's meritless, right? Which is the same as frivolous. It's not a frivolous lawsuit, as in it has a legal basis, okay? It has a legal basis. You can sue while you're angry. Now, if you sue frivolously out of malice, that's a problem. See, it's two things get like malice and frivolity together. That's a problem. But you can be angry and sue. I mean, think about it, guys. If there wasn't angry lawsuits, divorce wouldn't exist. Divorce lawsuits wouldn't exist, right? There's certain situations, especially when you've resorted to a lawsuit, where you're really angry. And you can be angry or even petty in a lawsuit. That's fine. In fact, lawyers make money off of pettiness, right? There are lawsuits over fences because of an inch or 2 inches or 3 inches of land, which, you know, I understand why people get indignant about that. But what I'm saying is that you're willing to sue over an inch and you're really angry about it. That's fine. You can be angry about it. That's okay. You're allowed to feel that feeling. Now, do I think it's just purely malicious without a legal basis? No, I do think it has a legal basis. Do I think the win? No, I don't think it's guaranteed the win. They could, though, and I think they have a strong case, but I don't think it's a guarantee 100%, right? I think the burden is on their side. I think it's probably, if you gave me a percentage, it's definitely over 60%. I probably would put it at 75% on their side because they're proactive on this. But I'm saying there's a chance. On the other side. Billy Aoki said, would it be funny if Palworld countersues, wins, it gets every single one of the Nintendo patents revoked? Well, that's what they're going to have to do. What they're going to have to do just to win is not to countersue. They'll just invalidate that patent that they're trying to enforce against them and say that's an invalid patent. And that would open up the world to go down that line of invention or creation or mechanic in other games. If Palworld wins, for example, with the ball catching mechanic, then, you know, all bets are off, right? Then, games can just go wild with that, hog wild with that. JP Ravenfire, from a gameplay standpoint, Palworld is more like Ark Survival. Don't see Studio Wildcard in its history. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. It's very much like Ark. It's more like Ark than Pokemon in gameplay. Weird says, do they understand if they win, everyone can make a patent tomorrow and start retroactively suing more? Think of it was thinking of suing Sony, but like, that's not how it works. They cannot do that weird. That's not how it works. I'm going to explain in a second because this is not, I know it seems like it's retroactive, but it's actually not. We'll get to it in 2 seconds here. Cheesy Play says, but Jade Cocoon, December 3rd, 1998, was a game with the same mechanics. Does that mean they're going to go after PlayStation? Nope. Once again, this retroactivity that's going back doesn't work that way. Last comment here, because, I have to get it. Einhander for $5 says, able to sue over an inch? Don't tell my wife that.
Degenerates. You guys degenerates.
She's already been sent a full memo, Einhander. She's already been sent the full package. You're welcome.
Disgusting.
All right. Nintendo really has Palworld by the balls. What's up, Kurt? Good to see you, Mr. Kurt over there. Kurt M. Big Papa. I'm looking forward to streams 9 p.m. when the Boom Case starts. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're having a great time over there in Big Texas. Enjoy you. Appreciate you. Keep being you, Kurt. Rodrigo Nakamoto also said they have sued for patents like a confirmation screen after sleep mode and hiding behind a tree after and creating a shadow, according to Forbes. When you've sued over stuff like that, you're really open to suits. Eldon Wides also said, little late, so sorry if it's already discussed. It's in the Pokeball design original intent based upon gotcha balls. This is simply spelled. It's gotcha balls didn't actually file a patent for that applied to game mechanics. So yeah, the gotcha balls aren't going to be able to preempt out Pokemon, right? So, all right, let me get into this because I think that'll help. And there are another 3 more chats here, but I'll get to those after we cover this. So let's first cover the Palworld statement because I want to get to facts here. So here we have the Palworld statement regarding the lawsuit. This is from Palworld DN on their official account on X. Okay. Yesterday, a lawsuit was filed against our company. And we have received notice of the lawsuit will begin the appropriate legal proceedings and investigations into the claims of patent infringement. At this moment, we are unaware of the specific patents we've been accused of infringing upon, and we have not been notified of such details. So this is true. Now, we are all speculating on which one it's going to be. And there's a particular mechanic that we're all speculating on, which was the ball catching mechanic, which is one they indeed have patented. Now, just because that's the one that we're all focusing on the internet doesn't mean that's the only one. In fact, they said it infringed on multiple patents. So I assume that there's going to be more than one that Palworld is allegedly infringing upon, so that they're going to kind of shotgun approach that, right? Okay. Pocket Pair is a small indie game company based in Tokyo. Our goal as a company has always been to create fun games. We will continue to pursue this goal because we know that our games bring joy to millions of gamers around the world. Palworld was a surprise success this year, both for gamers and for us. We were blown away by the amazing response to the game and have been working hard to make it better for our fans. We will continue improving Palworld and to strive to create a game that our fans can be proud of. It is truly unfortunate that we will be forced to allocate significant time to matters unrelated to game development due to this lawsuit. However, we will do our utmost for our fans and ensure that indie game developers are not hindered or discouraged from pursuing their creative ideas. We apologize to our fans and supporters for any worry or discomfort the news has caused. As always, thank you for your continued support of Palworld and Pocket Pair. By the way, guys, and I'm going to like this because I haven't liked it yet, but I like it. And shout out to my boy Knight posting down here the Dragon Quest versus Pokemon. Of course, once again, not necessarily relevant to this suit, but a cute comparison. It's really interesting because Palworld has a shit ton of support in the West and from the West. So the Westerners are behind Palworld. But the funny thing is that within Japan, the general sentiment is on the side of Nintendo, right? And there's 2 parts to that. One of it is national sentiment, just because, when you think of Japan, you think of Nintendo, right? So it's like, if you're Japanese, it's about as tied in as, Honda or Yamaha or any other big Japanese corporation. They do love their big Japanese corporations. They're part of Japanese society. They very much love them and have their identity tied to them, much like Samsung in Korea, right? Very, very similar. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is just supporting the general support for like creators bringing lawsuits, like, and just backing up and presuming the person that sues is in the right, because generally they are, right? So there's part of it there. But it's very interesting, that dynamic. That, don't read into that whether one is right or one is wrong. It's a very interesting dynamic from a support basis. Now, before I get into Grum's tweet and my problem with Grum's, that dirty Grum's, I am going to say thank you to an absolute giga Chad, Masrova Palma, coming in with the Eastern European heat. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. And, frankly, I see that much, and all I get is
emotional damage.
I love it, Masrova Palma. Thank you so much for coming through, for being such a G. Guys, please, in the chat specifically, say thank you, MP, big MP, Masrova Palma, for dropping that today. I know that Masrova Palma sometimes just drops it to hear me say their name like 16 times. So, Masrova Palma, right? But yeah, hope you're doing well all day. Dobre rano over there in the Czech Republic. Hope you're doing very, very well. And thank you for those gifts. And everybody who got one, please say thank you. Jacob Foxfires 964 says, small indie developer, please small indie developer, please understand. That's my North Korean accent. But yes. But no, look, I support indies. I support small developers, like, and I support innovation. So I'm wanting Palworld to succeed, but I'm going to tell you the truth about the lawsuits, despite my personal opinion on it. Oyamada says, if it was a cube, would they still get sued? I don't think so, honestly. I actually don't think so. Hypnotic and Rapture said, if the technology is patented, but they might still for other mechanics. That's the thing. But maybe not on that mechanic. Maybe not on the ball. I don't know. Good point. If a technology is patented by a corporation but worked on by a university and professor, does the state and company co-own the patent? Sony and the University of California worked on Blu-ray, for example. They usually have specific agreements dealing with that. It can depend on the agreement between the institution and the corporation. Typically, what happens is the university, because all universities are inefficient cesspools, which are running way under budget, they need money. So the corporation says this, look, we're going to use you as our research slaves. We're going to use you because we don't have to pay you as a very high priced employee. We can use you and your research abilities and your staff for, off the books here, and then just give you some money, just give you donations, give you cash, right? Underwrite you a bit, and you're going to do our research. Okay. So you're essentially an extension of our company. You're our company's branch. And they can do this pretty much unabashedly. They are research slaves. I mean, they're like the servitors of big corporations. And so they'll end up doing that, and then they'll turn over the IP to the corporation. So ultimately the IP, the valuable thing, will be owned by the corporation, but they've received a lot of money and support for that. It's a Faustian deal. That's how Gatorade was made. Exactly. Gatorade invented at University of Florida, right? Florida Gators, right? But ends up in the hands of the corporation. Mazorma Palma says more like Odpolne. Rano, it means morning. It's afternoon. So it wouldn't be Dobra Odpoledne. Maybe. I got to practice my Czech. It's been a while. Last time I was in Prague, I was just drunk. That was pretty much all that happened. LJ O'Rourke says, look, I'm a simple man. I see derpy characters and a healthy amount of firearms. I'm going to play. That's me too, though. All I want is a stoic character that blows shit up. Stoic characters that blow shit up, I'm in. Jacob Firesfox 967 says, people talking about how Nintendo will be going after any other games like it. No. Which of the games have throwing balls to capture like in Legends Arceus? Did Digimon do this? SMT. I don't think I don't think any others they're going to go after. First of all, Digimon's been out for so long that at this point that would kind of be like, you had your shot at Digimon, right? This is much different situation than the Digimon situation. But thank you for that. I don't think they're going to go suing everybody. I think it's specifically targeted at Palworld, which is why it makes them look like petty bitches. Hypnotic and Rapture says, if this technology is patented by a corporation but worked on by the universe. Oh, no, got this ready. Thank you for that. Chaos Smash 64 says, Nintendo kicking and screaming because they didn't get what they wanted. Maybe if you guys gave us what we wanted, Nintendo, we wouldn't be here, brats. See, that's the thing. Nintendo can just create a good fucking game. Create a Pokemon that people want to play. Create a real open world Pokemon that's really super open world and cool and seamless. How about you just do that? You can do it. We have the technology. You can do it. It's possible. So do it. Look, maybe instead, Jacob Foxfire says, look, maybe instead of ball and ball physics for Palworld, it's disc in those physics. And they capture like a UFO and capture whatever's under it. Maybe, who knows? And they could argue whether that falls under it or not. I think that would be different. That's my opinion, though. And for CLP 2500, Fidexu says, question, if something is shown in a trailer that was deleted later, can it still be used legally as a defense? I think a patent says object, not ball. Yeah, but something shown in a trailer isn't the issue. What's the issue is what's in the patent, right? So if the patent is one thing and the trailer is another, it's not going to matter. It's just applying the patent to whatever the infringement is, and the infringement would be a product that's actively used. They're not going to sue over a reference that's only in a teaser trailer. They're going to sue over a successful game. They're suing Palworld because it's successful. This is actually fucking scummy because they waited until they're successful and have money, and now they're going to sue them. Monarch of the Bunnies said, morning legal grind set. It's 7-ish here. PST. Well, good morning. Have your coffee and get some mindset. Speaking of which, JP Ravenfire with 20 legal mindset memberships. You know what? I mean, today you guys are so good to me. I'm just the luckiest man in the world. But I know that despite how lucky I am,
you don't deserve me. You don't deserve me. You wouldn't be able to handle me. I'm too powerful for you. My GFE is too strong for you, chat.
it's been a while since I used that one. Thank you though, JP. Appreciate you guys. Say thank you to JP in the chat. And you know, it's a good experience to know that I've got OGs and people that are around for a while like JP supporting the channel. So thank you so much, brother. Thank you. I have big lawyer girlfriend energy, you know, when you need your legal wife, which might be a guy, husband, whatever. It's all good. It's all good. Lily for $1. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into this. So where is Grums wrong? How am I going to yell at old Mark? Let's yell at Mark. So Mark over here, Mark Kern on Grums over here on Twitter said, Palworld exploded on the scene in February. Patent about Pokeballs filed in May. Patent granted in August. Pokemon sues Palworld the following month. Folks, this is Nintendo using lawfare to try and kill an indie studio that embarrassed them by creating a better Pokemon-style game than they did, and I don't support it. After all these years, they only filed a patent this year. So focusing once again on the fact that the patent was filed in 2024, right? And over here you see it as well, right? Filed later. Okay, so here's why this is not as big of an issue as you think. And this is actually on an article which I haven't seen quoted anywhere. But it's a great article, and it's citing a Japanese lawyer, Kiyoshi Kurihara. So he's a Japanese guy. He's a patent attorney, and he is breaking into this analysis. So let's read this analysis by Kiyoshi and why, in particular, it is such a damning patent to have filed. So he starts by saying, as you know, this is his opinion, right? Once again, as a Japanese lawyer, there have been opinions about Palworld's monsters being similar to Pokemon in form. However, this is not enough to ascertain copyright infringement. They come close, but they're narrowly avoiding it. So in his opinion, as a Japanese lawyer, he is saying that in his opinion, as a Japanese lawyer, under the Japanese system, at least whatever rules they're playing by, that's not going to be enough to be copyright infringement. Okay. So that's why they went through patents. So what are the patents? So aside from the monster designs, Palworld's game system does not seem very similar to Pokemon. And it seems to be an open world game similar to Ark, right? Similar to Ark. So the people who mention Ark, the chads in the chat who mention Ark, there you go. It's more of an Ark than it is a Pokemon. If there is a common point, it is the mechanic whereby you throw a ball-like object at monsters to capture them. If there is any patent infringement to speak of, I think it would be this. So in his opinion, that mechanic is the one right there. Right? So since the lawsuit against Pocket Pair was filed jointly by Nintendo and the Pokemon Company, Kurihara assumes the patents in question have to be jointly registered by both companies. This narrows down the possibility to 28 patents. Further, there are 4 divisional patents that Nintendo and the Pokemon Company registered after Palworld's launch. We're going to get into what a divisional patent is. Right? For extra context, a divisional patent is a type of patent application that contains isolated content from a parent patent that has already been registered previously. It is usually used to split up a patent that describes multiple technologies. Let's take a pause here and let's go over to a graphic, because I love graphics and I found this nice graphic provided by the Europeans, showing you that Europeans can occasionally do things correctly. This is by the European Innovation Council. But as you can see here, this explains what a divisional patent is. So a divisional patent is a strategy, right, whereby you take a parent patent, so an original patent, and you split it. Now, why would you do that? Well, there's several reasons. The first is that technically every patent is supposed to be for one invention, okay? So if there is something that is potentially for multiple inventions, you want to break that out into further subdivisions. Now, what they did was they took their existing patent, which existed before Palworld was ever developed. So they took their original patent and they split it into a bunch of divisional patents. They split it. Now, here's the other thing about a divisional patent. When you do this, the new patents, yes, they're issued as of the date, but they're enforceable on the date of the parent patent. So when you file and receive a divisional patent, let's say this one was filed in 2020 and this one comes out in 2024, you can enforce this as if it existed in 2020. So if you filed a patent in 1990 and you divide it in 2024, you can go back and enforce it as of that date, as of that prior date. And that's why the date issue is irrelevant. And all the people on the internet talking about the date issue aren't understanding this concept. And frankly, I didn't even get this concept, right? And it's used, by the way, as a litigation strategy. Here's why. Because imagine you have a lawsuit and you have your one parent patent and it has multiple concepts in it. Well, first of all, they can get that patent invalidated because it's not supposed to have multiple concepts. It's supposed to only be one. But beyond that, if you have multiple divisional patents, multiple baby patents, then you can sue on each of them and they have to defeat all of them. So you might fail on 3, but succeed on 1. And even if the opposition manages to overturn one of your patents, they probably won't overturn the rest. Maybe they win on one and they overturn you on one, but your patent is upheld on the rest. See what I mean here, guys? So they're not going to lose their ability to sue not just you, but sue other people. So let's pay attention here. Let's pretend this is Pokemon, right? And divisional patent A is the ball throwing, right? So they're suing Palworld for ball throwing. But there's also the riding mechanic, like riding on Pokemon. That's a separate one. And they don't want to sue Palworld over that. They want to sue a different company. So they use this patent B to sue a different company. Yeah, that's divisional patents. Now, honestly, when I learned more about this, I'm like, that's kind of shitty that the timeline gets to go back like that. Now, I understand why. It's because, well, it's kind of saying, all right, you had a broad patent. Maybe you didn't know what it was at first, but now you've refined it a lot. So let's let you show that you've updated your patent. I kind of get the idea, but it's being used as a litigation tool, as a way to fight people, right? It's really fucked up, but that's the law. And frankly, it sucks, but my job here is to tell you what the law is, whether I like it or not, right? And that's just the law. It's not that I love this. It's not like I enjoy this being a mechanic, right? Kind of seems kind of broken as a legal procedure to go back and say, no, we're going to use that root parent patent and we're going to make it enforceable as of the date of the parent patent, regardless of when it's issued. That's kind of fucked. That's the law, right? So let's continue to hear what he says about this. Once again, I want to hear this is what the Japanese lawyer says about this. The most recent application made by Nintendo and the Pokemon Company is patent number 7545191. According to Kurihara, the companies requested for the review to be accelerated, and the patent was approved on August 22nd. This special sped up examination process, which is interesting. We haven't heard about this from any other outlet, that literally they were rushing in order to sue, was used to approve 3 other patents as well. Based on these circumstances, as the parent patent was registered in December of 2021, these are legally effective against Palworld, which launched in January this year, because the date of the parent patent is December 2021. So they can sue for anything after December 2021. Based on these circumstances, the attorney speculates that Nintendo and the Pokemon Company filed these 4 divisional tactics as a common technique of amending an existing patent for use in litigation against specific allegedly infringing property. It's a litigation tactic. The previously mentioned patent is, in essence, the mechanic of catching Pokemon. It describes in simplified terms the following process: aiming a capture item, a Pokeball, at a character placed on a field, Pokemon, releasing the capture item in the direction determined by the player input, judgment of whether the capturing is successful or not upon contact between the capture item and the Pokemon, changing of the Pokemon status to owned by the player when capturing is successful. In addition, the patent also covers the mechanic of having the capture probability displayed to the player, regardless of whether it uses colors, graphics, or numbers. So it shows right here, here's the ball, right? See, it shows the little ball. Here's the graphic, the ball. Here's the thing. It looks like they used a pterodactyl here, which is kind of funny. They used a pterodactyl, right? So that's what they described it as. This is in the patent filing, this image. So, yeah. Kurihara calls this the killer patent, commenting, "It seems like it would be hard to avoid if you want to make a Pokemon-like game and easy to infringe if you're not careful." The expert does not go into detail about the rest of the 3 remaining divisional patents. However, a rough look at the description suggests the former are related to riding on top of a Pokemon and the latter tie in the specifics of catching Pokemon. So literally riding Pokemon, catching Pokemon. Very, very, very interesting here. So the opinion of them is that they're in trouble regarding specifically the capture mechanic because of that divisional patent. Crazy. And yeah, so that's what I got for that one. That's what I got for that one. So I know a lot of people are not going to like that. I know a lot of people are going to watch this and be like, wow, this is some bullshit. And you know what? That's fine if you feel like it's bullshit, but we can't go out and say, oh yeah, Palworld's going to win no matter what. No. Like Palworld's got a real case. It's got a fight here. And look, I'm rooting for Palworld, but I understand the odds are not good. Like I understand this is like rooting for the underdog. This is rooting for the long shot. This is rooting for the horse that's 20-1 or 40-1. Right? They can win. Sometimes the long shot horse, the dark horse wins, right? Sometimes. But they're definitely the underdog in this battle. That's the law, right? Crimson Splat says, sorry guys, but slow down and let him explain. No, we're good. I got my explanation now. Lily says, what happens in foreign businesses that are partnered with Palworld and want to help Palworld? Is it something that can happen? No. This is in Japanese court. They have no ability to intervene. The only thing they could do is they could give them money. Right? I mean, if Sony or whatever, or sorry, Microsoft, or whoever partner with Palworld wants to send them money, they can do that, right? But they can't intervene in the lawsuit. So legally, directly, they can't help them. The only thing they can do is give them a donation. They could say, okay, here's some money. I don't think they're going to do that. They could also have their lawyers, their in-house counsel, or whoever they work with give them suggestions. But frankly, their suggestions are largely going to be useless, particularly the Western businesses, because you need to make sure you're arguing persuasively to a Japanese judge. And even if the law is very similar to the United States and the patents may be filed in the international system, you're still in a different system, which has different customs, different procedures, even different criminal cases and criminal courts can be different. Right. We saw, for example, in the case of Kyle Rittenhouse, where their counsel used a strategy based on the type of people in that town and just being 100% honest and saying things that you really shouldn't have said as a attorney, and also not objecting a lot to show that you got nothing to hide. Right. And that you're just going to be 100% honest, which isn't a strategy that might have worked somewhere else, but it worked there. Right. So in the same way that U.S. cities can be different, countries can be totally different. So you got to make sure you're fine-tuning your argument to be successful in Japan. They're going to have to argue this in court. They're going to actually have to go into court and argue this. Now, I know a lot of people have said, what if I just wanted to go out there and just file a patent for whatever? Well, all you people on the internet who say, okay, I'm just going to go out here tomorrow, and me as a rando on the internet, I'm going to file a bunch of patents. Well, here's the problem. You've got to be the one who created the invention. Right. And also it's got to be new and novel. Right. So here's some requirements, particularly this is US requirements, but like for patentability. Right. It's a little bit of education for you guys here. Once again, educating and entertaining on this channel. To receive a patent, an invention must be new and novel. So you can't just, take somebody's old existing idea and file for it. That's not going to work. Cannot have been previously known publicly. Cannot have been used, sold, or offered for sale in the U.S. at least 1 year prior. It cannot have been the subject to a patent issued elsewhere more than 1 year prior to filing in the U.S., meaning there can't be one abroad as well. So that's a lot, right? So you've got to make sure you're actually coming up with something new and not just like copy pasting. Weird says, with Microsoft quitting gaming and PS6 being a washout, Nintendo will win the console war. However, I see it only being Japan exclusive product in 5 years. Maybe. I mean, the PC Master Race may win out ultimately. Oh, Pop says, I just remembered Ark also has a stuffed monster in ball mechanic. The only thing that is different is that you don't know how to catch the dino. That's true. That's true. Let's see here. Andy for 10 euros. Said, could writing real world animals count as prior art according to the writing patent? We'd have to look at that one. See, that would be a real that would be real bullshit, because frankly, if like mounting a horse, I don't think they're going to give them a patent on that, on mounting a horse in a game. I'm sorry. They're not getting a patent on that. But maybe for something else they might. I don't know. That's one where I think that the mounting and riding, I think that's going to be a harder one to prove. Yeah, no one is going to give them is going to allow it to be enforceable for like horseback riding, right? Like Mountain Blade, they're not going to be able to do that, or whatever, Manor Lords, whatever else it is, like that has horses in it, or real world horses. That's not going to work. Think about all the games with real world horses. It's not going to work. warranty void for 50 Norwegian krona. Says, has prior art been considered? Prior art? What are you talking? I mean, it's not really relevant here because they're suing Palworld. They're not suing. So a lot of when people want to bring up Digimon or whatever, they're not suing Digimon. So, factually, all those things are irrelevant. This is something that is really being specifically created and targeted at Palworld, which makes it look petty. The thing is that this is not, people can bring up whatever they want to bring up from before and, where Pokemon may have taken their influence, et cetera, but that's not relevant to this case. All that's relevant is the mechanics, Palworld's creation date, and whether they can argue that it's substantially different from the patent itself, or that they shouldn't be granted a patent on that in the first place, and that the patent is actually invalid. Thank you for the shib love. There's big shib love today. Appreciate that. And you guys have been really great with your support today. Thank you so much for coming through today, guys. It's been amazing. Tile for 5 Swiss francs says, what about it? What about if the pocket pair has this mechanic present in previous games, Craftopia before 2021? They have a capture monster in ball mechanic. They have a capture monster in ball mechanic? Do they? So I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know about that. So let me see. Yeah, someone's in the check a little disagreement here. You must be the one who yeah, so look, with the patents, what I'm saying about the patents is you must be the one to create it. So what people have been saying on the internet, so people have been typing on the internet things like, I personally, like me, Andrew, legal mindset, if there's no patent on, let's say, I don't know, ghost busting, I'm going to go file a patent on the mechanic in a game of putting a ghost in a box, right? And capturing it with some sort of ray gun. Right, because there's no patent, right? No, I don't. Once again, I have no idea if there is a patent on that or not. Whatever. Just make an example. I'm going to run out there as Andrew and do that. No, I didn't do anything involving that. Right? I can't run out there and do that myself. And that's what a lot of people were kind of commenting on. King Lugia said it's illegal but moral to pirate Nintendo games. I cannot officially on a YouTube channel while I'm live with 1,263 amazing people watching ever say you should pirate anything. And it would be horrible if you emulated anything you didn't absolutely own 100%. Right? It'd be horrible if you had, I don't know, emulators on your desktop that you're kind of checking to make sure they're still there right now. Yeah, I was looking over at that right now. That would be absolutely horrible. That'd be horrible. And absolutely, I do not have any emulators of any Pokemon games or mods such as Pokemon Uranium. Definitely do not have that. Definitely do not have that on my machine ever. That would be horrible. That would be abominable. That would be dastardly. Hayden for 75. Or Hayden 75. Hayden 75 for 20. Although 75 is nice, but 20 is very nice. Thank you so much. How can something like capturing a creature in some sort of containment device, then the ownership of the creature being transferred to the player, be unique? Can nobody else have a creature collector game? There are several. In a game format, it's the action with the ball. It's not capturing alone. It's the pointing the ball at somebody, selecting it, throwing it, it gets captured. There's a probability, right? That specific mechanic. If your capture mechanic works slightly differently than as detailed in the patent, then it's not going to work that way. Then it's going to be fine, right? So for example, if you have a capture mechanic where it throws like a net and it struggles out of a net, that's not going to violate anything, right? I would argue if there's no ball, if it's a sphere, probably be all right. Like a box. Like if you threw a box on top of the animal and it gets caught like under a box, that'd be fine. But balls, no balls. Guys, all Nintendo is saying is no balls. All right? Nintendo just doesn't want balls. Okay? You guys get it? And not those type of balls. I know what you guys are thinking.
Degenerates. You guys degenerates.
And that's why you should smash a like button, because we've only got 450 likes and there's 1,300 of you almost in here. So please smash that like button. Let's get up to 600 likes. Get half that ratio there, please. And that's all I ask of you today. If you've enjoyed this type of content, and if you join me covering this type of content, because I love talking about it and it's very fascinating to me. And this is an area of international law where I didn't realize we have a system that is very, very easy to use. And I also didn't realize that China passed the US in filing international patents. That's actually something I learned, which I find very fascinating. Also, I would imagine that a lot of those Chinese patents are probably sus if you looked into them, but that's neither here nor there. And I would wonder how many of those would be stolen IP, but we're not going to go there today. So yeah, thank you for that, Tal. Yeah, okay, sorry, I got that already too. And then Rio Hoshi said, are you required to defend patents like a TM or a copyright? You're not required. Okay, this is another big one. Thank you. This is a very good question. A lot of people have asked, are you required to defend it? So is Nintendo going to have to sue everybody else who uses a ball? No, they do not. You do not have to go out there and sue everybody in order to keep your IP. That's not a requirement, right? It's not a proactive requirement on you that you have to monitor everything that's going on in the entire world and you have to sue. No, that's ridiculous. And that would be so anti the IP holders that would be ridiculous if you had a affirmative duty to sue, right? You don't. So are they required to? No. However, Nintendo are a bunch of litigious pricks, and they will be suing, I guarantee you, more people and continue to be very litigious through their corporate history. They've been litigious. That's who they are. They're well known for taking people's content down, for striking videos, etc. Nintendo is arsehole, big asshole. They choose which balls are more profitable. The best degenerates live in this chat. I agree. You guys are the best. You guys are really the best. And you're the reason why I like to do this day in and day out. Kara said, can Palworld get out of the lawsuit by changing the game? Or is it too late once you're sued? They could change it, but I mean, they still would have damages. So they'd have to pay for what the damages were going backward. So that might get them out going forward, but it wouldn't get them out going backward. At this point, they're probably better off, rather than changing anything, just waiting till see how the lawsuit shakes out. And if they need to change it afterwards. Don't change it yet. I would not make a change in the middle of a lawsuit or at the start of a lawsuit. It's not going to make the lawsuit moot at all, because they would argue, Pokemon would argue, that all of the sales up to the time of the change were as a result. And they would also argue that even the customers that continue to play after the change are as a result of the mechanic that initially existed, right? So they would say you kind of baited them in with the ball and you gave them a sphere, right? Or a cube, right? So you came for the balls and instead you got some box. Now I know typically it goes the other way around. Especially here in Southeast Asia. I mean, you come for the box and you get the balls. Things happen, right?
What the fuck?
That said, yeah, let's continue here. Can Power Girl also? Oh no, I got the one already. Devi says, for 5. So is aiming integral to what it would be fine for games that are just turn-based, like a Koromon or Temtem, since you don't aim? Let me look that up. Koromon and Temtem. Okay. So I've never even seen Temtem gameplay here. Okay. So let me look it up. Temtem, like capture. How to capture Temtem. Let's watch this. It's 1 minute. It's literally 1 minute. So this is good. This is a good example here. All right, let's present this. By the way, I hope we don't get a strike over the music. You know what? I'm going to turn off the music just in case, because the music has been getting me lately on my chats, guys. We've been getting like flagged time after time after time. Let's continue. Music is good though. Okay, different TEM card tiers that will affect the CAD chance of capture. Weakening the TEM or inflicting a status condition will increase your chances too. Okay. I didn't even know there's that many monster catching games. Right. Capturing its species data is registered in your Temopedia. Well, man, this Temtem over here looks damn like a Spearow. This looks damn like a Spearow. Like really, really like a Spearow. Okay, so he's attacking it to weaken it. Okay. Okay, so it's really vital now. So it's low HP, right? Okay, get your guy over here. His defense is now down. Okay. So they're going to the bag. And okay, Tem card. A card like thing used to capture. Okay. Tem card? Okay. Yeah, it's not a ball. That doesn't look like a ball to me. That looks like we're in the clear. That looks like you're in the clear. There's no ball. You're selecting a card. I think that's fine, actually. I think that's fine. Is Koromon similar? Hold on. Let's see. I think that's fine. Gotta steal them all? Wait, why is it gotta steal them all? Is that their actual name for Koromon? Okay, hold on. I gotta get to like the capturing mechanic. Okay, this is like 53 seconds, but whatever. Okay, so Koromon, I can't review right now, but Temtem, that looked clear. I think that's fine. So Temtem, I think it ain't got no balls. So ain't got no balls. It's fine. Wolf and Wing says, I know why they call it Bangkok. If you've seen Hangover, you get the joke. Hunter Rose for 125 since the super sticker. Appreciate it. LSBL Anime Guy said, can games with similar themes and names of characters, Azure Lane, Ken Calais, Sue, either or one come before the other because of history of World War II ships equals ship girls? Is there a patent? I think once again, we're talking about mechanics here. This is a patent lawsuit. You're getting into copyright, right? And like, I don't know the copyright history regarding that. Now that I know there'd be some stuff that you cannot sue over. For example, the names of the ships, right? The names of historical ships you can't sue over because they're historical ships, right? So like the Lexington or the Enterprise or the Hornet or whatever the class of ship, the Medusa class, whatever other class, right? The Ashton Burke, whatever. Like you can't sue over the class of a ship or a sub or a plane or whatever else, right? That's not something that's going to happen. However, if there's a mechanic, like for example, if there's a very, very, very specific, unique gotcha mechanic that like appears in a very specific way, you might be able to patent that, and then you might be able to sue over it. But I actually haven't played. I only know about like the mechanics broadly, not like specifically from Azure Lane and Ken Calais. So, and most of the Kansai collection. So I actually don't know about the mechanics, whether there's anything in there that they could sue over. And I certainly don't know all their patents. So that would make it kind of an outside the scope question. But good question, but definitely outside the scope. Devi said, so if aiming is integral, it would be fine for games that are turn-based like Koromon and Temtem, so you don't aim. Yeah, it seems like that. So there's no aiming there. You just select a card and it goes. So that defeats that part of the patent. So I think that one's fine. It's my personal opinion, but I think I'm right on that. Weird for 2 says, couldn't Palworld say their balls capture humans? I mean, here's the thing about Pokeballs. I think they can capture humans too. Just nobody's tried, right? It's the whole ethics thing. But like, who says they can't capture humans? Have you tried? Have you really tried? Just saying. Maybe just next time toss it at that. After you capture that, after you beat their team, just throw the ball at the trainer, right? Kaijin 666, member for 5 months. Patent says object, not ball. Once again, but it shows a picture of a ball. So maybe you could get away with something else. Who knows? Fair point though, fair dues about what it says, but maybe you could get away with it. Hayden 75 said, would damages be from filing a patent or something not patented able to retroactively enforce? No, it'd be the damages would be as of filing. But remember, Hayden, it's as of filing of the parent patent. Because in this case, going back to divisional patents, once again, we need to go back to that example. Let me pull that back up here real quick. Pulling that back up. If that original one, in this case, came out in 2021, they can sue as of all sales of 2021. Remember, we're going back to the date of the parent patent. So all the damages that accrued as of the parent patent can be collected on. That's the real killer part of this. That's why this is so damaging, because it's a divisional patent. Because it's not an original patent, it's a divisional patent. And because they rushed this through, it means they specifically made this for litigation. It's a specific litigation tactic. It's a legal tactic, but it's scummy as fuck. It's legal. It's not illegal, but it's scummy, right? It's kind of like Disney does very similar tactics, by the way. Disney does a lot of things that are like not illegal, but they're really POS moves. But they know that one of the reasons why they win is because they know procedure. And sometimes the way you win in court is by being better at procedure and processes and technicalities than the other side. It's crappy, but that's the way it is. Schwimmer24 says, I don't know if this was brought up, but Nexamon is a Pokemon-like indie game, but instead of balls to capture monsters, they use triangle-looking capture devices, and it's also on the Switch. Probably all right. Shiki says, the problem I have with the lawsuit is that Nintendo did not inform which patent Pocket Pair did infringe. They went silent when asked by the media. Well, it's going to come out because the lawsuit, even in Japan, is going to get translated. Now, it's going to take a little while for it to go from Nihongo to Gaijin speak. But once enough weebs are on it, and they're like, the legal weebs are on it, and they translate over those documents. In fact, I'm going to get one of my Japanese slaves, friends, on that right away. Oops, did I say that out loud? Totally legitimate friend, and totally gonna pay them. Smash the like button if you like that gray area between perhaps slavery and employment. If you're interested in those sort of legal issues, how about you smash a like button? I hope you've earned that. We're wearing gray today because we like gray areas here. We like gray areas. You know what?
I'm not sorry, and I did nothing wrong.
Whoever sent me that Aspen clip, thank you, because I it's so true for so many things I say. Yeah, so true. All right, Brent for 10. What's up, brother? Who says, since while the game is recent, the game's development should have taken years at least, could Palworld be able to prove their mechanic predates the 2001 Paramount? If they did, that would be good. But if Nintendo can show that the public didn't know about it until after, it's going to be, they're still going to have some liability. And also in terms of the marketing of it and everything else. So yeah, it's going to be difficult. Now, it might be an argument. They could try that. Once again, this could be something that might be persuasive, but I don't think it's going to be like, I don't think that's going to fully fly, right? Just because the game started its development in 2020 doesn't mean you've got all your mechanics down. In fact, one of the arguments Pokemon could throw back is your mechanics aren't really finalized till the game is launched, right? So until the game is launched, that's it. And the game was launched this year, right? So that's the real problem there. But good thought. It's creative, Brent. And that's the sort of arguments you use in court. Are you try to get creative, you try to make those arguments. And I think that's one that you could try. That's an argument you could try. I don't think it's the most successful, but it's you can make it. Opop says, do patents expire when the IP reaches public domain? That's not how, you're confusing two separate areas, right? There's separate things that play with patents versus with IP. But there are points at which patents drop off, right? And you are allowed, the general public is allowed to delve into that area. That can also depend on what type of thing it is, because in certain areas, that IP doesn't stay for long. Right. So, for example, famously, pharmaceutical industry, right? There's certain national caps. They can vary by certain nations, but there's certain caps on the length of time that the patent stays on certain things. So it depends on what it is, where it is. But yes, there's a point at which everybody can use it at some point. But it's not always, quote unquote, public domain. It's just, hey, it's lapsed, right? Toa Emnus. I don't know why that's so hard for me today. Enemies, like enemy, enemies. Got it. So Nintendo and Pokemon were given full permission from their own rabid fan base to sue without fear of losing in court of public opinion. They're crazy. Well, look, guys, I'm going to give you a poll here in the chat. Like, are they, like, is the Nintendo fan base crazy? It's just a yes or no. Simple yes or no. I mean, I'll just say this. They've been very litigious in the past, and they have yet to, like, be shamed out, like completely shamed, like out of here. And, you know, like they're not getting Bud Lighted. Okay. Like, this isn't the same thing. So they seem pretty resilient to that, which can be a good and a bad thing. Can be a good and a bad thing. Dark Lush says, patent time to bring the tism, someone fetch uncivil, as a Pokeball human question. SM83 implies that it modified you could capture humans. There you go. SM83. Let me look. Okay. SM83. Hold on. Is that right? SM or is it HM? Maybe HM83? Or TM83? Let's see. Is that it? Hold on. Try to see if it was something I could get like the text on and pull up. Interesting though. Okay, I'll look that up after. But cool. Yeah, no, I think you could capture humans. Chaos Smash for 2 says, Andrew paces slaves with hentai and dakis. Listen, this is slander. This is shameful. And you know what?
Yeah, you know, I'm in favor of execution. Maybe our entire team needs to be executed after tonight.
The whole chat's got to go. You guys are too G-Gen. All right. I'm a Nintendo fan, but those fans are worse. Yeah. And there's something between a fan and a fan. 89% of you believe that. 89% of you believe the Nintendo fan base is crazy. I think that's pretty decisive. I mean, we're 89% right now. That's pretty bad. Wolfram 47 says, so what you're saying is they're flinging pasta at the wall to see what sticks. I wonder when the penny will drop. No, this is actually more like a headshot. So they kind of got the mechanic. They lined up the mechanic that they think is the one they really got him dead to rights on. And they're taking the headshot with the ball throwing mechanic because they're like, well, that specifically, the judge is going to look at that and be like, well, yeah, that's there. And kind of you took that one thing. So they might rule with them specifically on that. Right. So yeah, I think it's different than the US style. We throw out every claim. Now they may sue on multiple patents. I will, let's see. Let's wait and see. But yeah. Brent Wolf for 10 says, Andrew, you've met D-Day Crowbar. I have. He's a Nintendo fanboy. That answers your poll right there. It's true. Shout out to Jeremy. Shout out to D-Day Cobra. I'm trying to get those guys out here. I'm telling them that I told them, like, hey, you guys, you should do a Japan thing, like, and your boy will help out with that big time. Come through with that big time because I know a lot of them are like closet weebs, closet Japanese game enthusiasts, and they got to get out to the land of the rising sun sometime. So yeah, I'm gonna drag Jeremy from Florida here. I'm a Florida boy over in Asia. He can make it too. Just a visit. I'll let him go back. But yeah, no. Tells me everything I need to know. But shout out to Jeremy, the 119 Geeks and Gamers. Appreciate those guys. Really good friends of me and really good friends of mine, right? Using proper grammar, not monkey grammar. Really good friends of mine, really good people. He's a guy who, whenever I'm dealing with some bullshit, he actually proactively calls me and is like, yo, what's up? Like, I got your back. You need to talk, blah, blah, blah. So really fucking good guy. Anova Star says, am a fan and can say yes, but not all. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, once again, you can be a fan without being crazy, but like you see the other fans, right? When you're a fan of something, you look around and you're like, oh yeah, the other ones are kind of crazy, right? It's kind of like if you like casually liked K-pop, you can be like, yeah, I like K-pop, but you look around, you're like, but those guys are crazy. Right now, that said, it tends to be more crazy than not, but we're not going into that. K-pop is great. And I would never say besmirch K-pop ever on the internet ever. Continuing to move on here. I think, let me make sure I got my emails on this kind of filled. But the thing in terms of probability, what do I think? I'll go back to this. I'll say it once again. I think we're at 75-25, 75 of them now, 75 on Pokemon, 25 on the Palworld. However, I think the best thing for both parties would be a settlement, to come to an agreement and a settlement for Palworld to just pay them to fuck off, right? Let them go away so they save face, which is a huge thing in Japan. These are two Japanese companies. To give them a settlement, tell them to go the fuck away and sell them to, and also as part of that settlement, tell them they can't sue them about anything else in the future. So preempt them from suing about anything else in the future so they can continue to make their product, continue to make future versions, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that'd be the best thing to do with them. And yeah, someone's saying the settlement with Nintendo, yeah, they'll settle, guys. They're not that insane. I think they would be willing to settle, right? Now, they could be that deranged. It's possible. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right. So I think that's what I got for today. Guys, it's been freaking awesome. Now, of course, we love our VTubers, and I love my girl Poe. She's great. She's been a good friend of the channel. So as we're going out today, throw some VTuber clips on the end. And I will also be back probably tomorrow. I don't think it'll be morning. It might be another stream around this same time, just because this will probably work out better for me. I will also be on Smash JT's show. So that's going to happen. Now, that's supposed to be tomorrow morning. I may be a little hungover or barely awake or something tomorrow. But that's probably going to happen. I got to make sure I get the invite for that. But that said, guys, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you all are having a great time. And thank you for joining today. So with that, I'll leave you with my girl here on her first thought when she saw a toilet.
Yes, the next 行くよ。窓、ウィンドウ。これはイージーだね。ウィンドウ。Yeah. Okay, 壁。Oh, it's everyone's love word じゃん。most love word, right? Hero じゃない。わからん。It's wall. It's wall. Wall, 壁。
Against the wall.
I do love you a lot. Hero is not 壁。Why? It's why. Nice. I love Beyonce. I love Kamen. What the fuck? Please comment on me. No, I don't comment on. I hold your head and push you at the wall. No comment on. Head down.
That's
no,
good. That's good.
I'm shy, everyone. I'm shy. I can't do that. Close enough.
The chat is degenerate. Skibbity, skibbity, skibbity.
What? What?
No.
ゲームごとバグの maybe this かもしれない。This game is weird, everyone. This game is weird. This game is weird. Flower garden. Huh. It's bug かな? Oh, it's weird, bro.
It's very, very weird. Guys, I hope you enjoy this always. That is extremely adorable. Anyways, on that note, guys, take care, stay based, and I will catch you on the next one.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Low,